Special teams are critical in the game of hockey, and while the Kelowna Rockets power play has stalled this season, the same cannot be said for the penalty kill. It's been fabulous, ranked second in the league behind Victoria, and it's an important part of the game, as the bottom feeders occupy the lower rungs of the rankings. The Rockets PK is the league's best at home, but only middle of the pack on the road where the Rockets currently find themselves. And the coach does note the PK hasn't been as good recently as it was earlier in the season.
We are off to a great start this year where we were well over 90%, which is really good for a penalty kill. We've lost a little bit of our urgency that we had earlier in the season with it, and we have to work to get that back as we move down this pre-Christmas stretch.
The Rockets were 5th last year and usually finish in the top 6 in the league. Only 2 years ago, when they were 16th, was it a concern. It would appear a good kill is a hallmark of a Ryan Huska coach team. Perhaps that stems from his junior days when he had a two-way role on a Blazers dynasty coached by Don Hay. The Rockets system could be described as aggressive, but that pretty much describes most teams' style these days. A move away from a passive box to a puck pressure system that forces opponents to make quick decisions and prevent a decent setup or booming point shot.
I think most times I would probably consider ours a little more aggressive. We want the players not to give power plays a chance to set up. If people are under pressure, they're not going to make the great play, and if they happen to make a great play and score on us, good for them. They did a pretty good job, so we want to try to force the issue as much as possible.
The Rockets don't necessarily deploy a first unit. They have enough good defensively minded players that they can throw out just about anyone out there when the other team is a man up, and that's a major advantage.
I don't think with a penalty kill you can have a first unit. We kind of expect 3 to 4 changes per penalty kill, so we'll have at least 3 different sets of guys. Sometimes we use 4 sets of guys for a penalty kill. So we want them to stay fresh, and part of being able to pressure and being aggressive is not staying on the ice too long. So our guys have done a pretty good job at that this year.
It's often been said the best penalty killer is the last line of defense, the goaltender. And indeed, Jordan Cook has been solid when the lads are a man short.
Jordan and Jackson, for that matter, have been good for us. You know, they make saves when they have to make them, but also with our penalty kill, they've made saves that they shouldn't be making either. So they're very competitive guys in our net that do a good job of making sure that they're competing on all pucks.
Teams also have to adjust when things aren't working out too well, but for the most part, those tweaks are made in practice as opposed to on the fly in a game.
Most times your adjustments come on how you have to forecheck up the ice, depending on what type of power play you're seeing. But most times it's the compete that you guys have, and if they do a good job reading off of each other, moving at the same time, and anticipating well, then your penalty kill has a chance for success if guys are willing to pay a price and block shots. And of course, as we've talked about, your goaltender comes up big.
Teams at the junior level often follow what the big boys are doing, and why not? It's a great way to pick the minds of the world's elite coaches. In the NHL, it's the Vancouver Canucks who are leading the pack with an almost 90% kill rate.
A lot of that stuff that we do, I guess we do in the summer. We watch a lot of NHL games, and we cut some video clips that we can show to our players of things that we want to try for sure. But we watch a lot of hockey games, we PVR a lot of games, and if we see things that we could utilize or use, or clips that are better examples than what we have, we show our players that. So without a doubt, we use NHL clips a lot with our players, and a lot of times we steal, borrow, or beg, whatever you want, from NHL coaches and NHL teams in regards to how they're doing things.